Alan Wake was one of the better games to come out of 2010. Unless you were a PC gamer, that is, in which case you had to wait a couple of years for it to be one of the better games of 2012. There's still no sign of a full sequel, but in the meantime, at least we have Alan Wake's American Nightmare, a download-only spin-off title. The original game left Alan stranded in the dark place.
You are entering my dark place.
Not that dark place. American Nightmare doesn't change that. Instead, it presents a side story where Wake ends up starring in an episode Night Springs, the fictional Twilight Zone style series that he used to write scripts for. The game is presented complete with imitated Rod Serling narration introducing the chapters.
The man has been brutally spat out from the darkness that surrounds the shores of our reality.
This time around, Alan Wake is on the trail of Mr. Scratch. Sorry, Mr. Scratch. An evil doppelganger who is trying to take over his life. He seems to represent all the darker aspects of Wake's personality, so presumably this is all taking place in his imagination, while still trapped within the dark place. The gameplay is the same as in the original game. You're facing the Taken again, and before you can kill them, you still have to burn away the darkness enshrouding them using your torch. Then you can finish them off with the usual array of pistols, automatics, rifles and shotguns. You also have flares to keep them away from you for a while, a flare gun with sparse ammunition but which can wipe out huge numbers of Taken at once, and flashbang grenades which are similarly useful. Since light equates with safety in the dark place,
Author, Dreamweaver, Visionary.
If you find a lamppost, then you can run into the light and it will regenerate your health, as well as serving as a checkpoint to save your game. Unlike in the first game, once you've used these, they then flicker off for a while afterward, before you can use them again. The game isn't above playing around with your expectations of the safety of these lights though. This time around, there's none of the daytime exploration sections to break up the darkness, making it a far more combat-focused game. The action isn't especially varied, but it works generally well, as it did in the first game.
Just keep your head down!
That's not to say there's no storyline at all, though. There are characters to meet and talk to along the way.
So, you might have brain damage, you're about to do great things with a magic piece of paper, and you came here from another dimension?
No, I'm from New York. I was just visiting another dimension.
Oh, yeah, okay. My bad.
And Mr. Scratch turns up regularly, mostly talking through video clips on television screens, and taunting Alan with details of what he's getting up to.
Don't worry. I'm not gonna treat her like the others. She's special.
Scratch is one of the more memorable antagonists in recent gaming, both deeply disturbing and darkly comic. If there's an issue with the game design, it's that you spend the game going through the same small number of levels repeatedly performing the same tasks, to the point where you might think you're in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania rather than Night Springs. This is all cleverly integrated into the plot of the game though, with enough changes to things each time that, while not perfect, it doesn't feel as repetitive as it could have done. As before, a lot of the story is told through journal pages that you find scattered throughout the game. This is something you have to be careful about, especially early on in the game, since you can easily trigger the transition to the next area without knowing you're doing it. Picking up this key takes you straight to the observatory, for example, and if you haven't collected all the journal pages yet, then it's tough luck. Thankfully, they do show up on your minimap when you get close to them. The game is a good 4 to 5 hours long, which isn't bad for a game released as a budget-priced download title, and frankly, it's as long as the average overpriced and underwhelming Call of Duty rehash. The production quality is as high as most full-priced releases. There's also an arcade mode to extend the length of the game a little more. It presents you with 5 levels, available in normal or nightmare difficulties, and simply sends waves of Taken against you. You have to try to survive for 10 minutes, at which point the sun comes up. Instantly.
The proof of your prowess lies in the fact that you still stand.
The combat in the game is good enough to support this mode, and while it's not likely to keep me playing for weeks, it's enjoyable enough to add a couple of hours to the game. If you haven't played the original Alan Wake, then that's a place to start. If you have played and enjoyed it, then this is well worth playing, providing some fun gameplay for a low price. It comes recommended. After all, you don't want to upset Mr. Scrap.